What's good, everyone? What is good? How you guys are doing? Yes, this is Luna Eugene of Universal Production, and I am excited to be here to be able to share with you guys Currents of Love. At least the director's review for each episode that we are going to be doing I would say every week throughout this episode, just to kind of give you guys an idea the behind the scene of AI filmmaking. And it is definitely a new technology. And I wanted to embark into this type of technology. I think it is exciting. And I know a lot of filmmakers have different views when it comes to AI filmmaking. But I'm just one of those guys that when it comes to technology, I really I embrace technologies. It doesn't matter what technology that it is. And I know we are a people that do not like change, and I understand. And when we are accustomed to something else, and we just want to stay in it, and we don't want change, and that's understandable. So I understand your feelings. And then another reason why most people probably don't want to get into AI is because they may not understand AI, and they hear a lot of stuff about AI, and therefore is they very skeptical about it. And then another reason could be there's a lot of people has lost their jobs. And I get it, and I sympathize with those who have lost your job. And at the same time, I want to say that where AI could be taking some of positions, it's also opened up doors for a lot of new ways of job positions as well. So just keep that in mind. If you haven't dived into AI at all, I'm talking about beyond filmmaking. There's so much ways that you can make money now and present it to different businesses. So if you going to dabble in and try to learn and research some of these tools, you might be ahead of the curve than most people. Just like I am when it comes to filmmaking, I'm diving in because I wanted to learn more about AI and really, and see what it has to offer. So, Currents of Love is a project that I decided that I was going to do while I was in the process of creating a music video that I call on For the Culture. It was actually written for Queen's King, my upcoming feature film that will be on Tubi and Amazon. So, probably this summer. So, definitely look out for that. But this is where while I was working on that music video, I had like a thought, like a light bulb just went up. How about making a short series, supposed to be somewhere within 1 to 2 minutes? And that's how the whole story came about, and how I got the name Currents of Love actually came from my feature film that we're supposed to be shooting this year, and it's called The High Value Man. The High Value Man is such a that's like my next project, and I'm extremely excited about. And so in the film, I pull out an insert where it talks about trusting the currents, allowing the currents to take you, the currents of love, to take you where it's want to take you. Because when I think about love, I think love is a luxury to be able to find someone that not just you fall in love with, or you have an interest in. I don't like to use the word falling in love because it just feels like you're just so vulnerable, because you don't want to lose yourself in the process. It's like Love Until It Hurts. If you watch my film Love Until It Hurts, I talk about not losing yourself when it comes to relationship, especially domestic violence relationship. So I took the inserts from there, from the High Value Man, which is Currents of Love, and because I felt like creating a story where and show really how I compare it to the currents of love, the ocean, how the ocean is forever changing because love is forever changing. We are forever changing. And so a lot of times we kind of have to go with the flow. So this is how the whole story came about. And believe it or not, this is a story that I didn't really write a full script for it, but I just kind of went in, and I went on chat GPT. I just start putting some ideas down in terms of what I wanted, and then I start developing the story. And from there, and then there, once I developed the first episode, I was already in. I'm in already, using different apps and creating the images and so on. So this is how like the whole story came about. And guys, this was the most challenging piece of work for me that I've ever encountered, done. The whole process took me approximately less than 2 months. It was like in December, I think it was like in December 15 or 22nd, or something like that, where I started the series, and I was done like somewhere like by close to, I would have to say, March or end of January. But yeah, so though, it was a process, and my hours of work was like from 7 a.m. till like midnight, sometime 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm up again at 7. But all because I even skipped the gym. I didn't go to the gym because I really wanted to focus on pushing this project, and I wanted to sort of show this project during the time of February, I think it was, because we wanted to show it because it's an experiment. This whole project is an experiment. So I was like, well, why don't we go all the way and go to the theater, book a theater, invite some people to come out, and we'll be able to talk about the project, not just the project itself, but we'll be able to go into diving into the conversation of AI filmmaking and AI. So, which was very interesting. It was great. We had a few people came out and we got their responses, and it was great. Even the guy who's at the theater, well, who owns the theater, and he wasn't around when we came in and they had to transfer the film into DCP version, so to make sure that it'll fit into the screen and make the quality even better. So he wasn't around. So on the day of the screening, he came and he was explaining to me how he started watching the film and it was really interesting. Then something like disturbed them, and it was the fact that the lip syncing, of course, because that's one of the downfall with AI, because the lip syncing is not technically really there, like the voices, some of the emotions. It was really tough. So, and he had to go back to the guy and say, hey, did you look at the film? He's like, oh, don't worry, it's AI. He's like, oh, because I was watching it, everything was going great, and then all of a sudden there was some parts the voice was off. So he was really concerned. So we had a conversation at the end. He actually listened to the whole panel. He loved the panel, and so yeah, it was a great experiment to see, you know, people's comment and what it was. People really loved it. They never really seen anything like this before. Especially a narrative short. I've seen a lot of different shorts on YouTube, but I haven't really seen a full narrative short series. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to focus on and dive in the most. So that's what we're here to talk about this. So for every 2 episodes that I'm going to release every week, I want to be able to definitely go behind the scene with you guys and kind of go, just a walk through my work in the process of how I was able to do these scenes, especially putting two characters into one scene. Because there's a lot of softwares that talks about it, but when you go ahead and you try it, it doesn't really work well. So I'm finding out a lot of these YouTubers are getting paid. They're getting paid to say, hey, there's a new software out there. Check this out. It's the best. It's the best. And guys, if you guys follow me from my filmmaking career, I've always been an honest individual, and I stand behind what I do. I stand behind my work. And for me, originality and being truthful is extremely important to me. So therefore, I will never detour you guys to say, oh, this is the best tool. I've used several different tools for this project because I wanted to make sure that, because no one tool can actually deliver all of the um, you know all of the things that I'm looking for when it comes to image generating, when it comes to video generating, when it comes to the voiceovers, like, so I had to use multiple tools to get the right chemistry or the right shot for this project, Currents of Love. So let's go ahead and let's dive in and and walk you guys through the process. So so even with the music, of course, I use Suno pretty much for everything. Suno for everything. And I'm glad I did that. There was two music that I had in there when I was testing it on YouTube. Even though, again, this honesty, even though for some reason they say this so some of those musics were free, but they weren't really free because when I uploaded to YouTube, I got hit with copyright issues. So I'm trying to monetize my channel, so I didn't want to be hit. So I said, you know what? Since I'm paying for Suno, I'm paying for a subscription. So all of the scores, all of the music that you're going to hear through Currents of Love was actually done in Suno. Almost everything was done within AI except for the ideas for like the stories of how I wanted it, and also I thought this was a beautiful opening with that music and all, and then of course right here we have Barry, which is I would say the love interest who actually finds Mia. And by the way, guys, if you have not watched the series, and they are really short, guys. I think this one is about two minutes. So if you haven't watched it, there's going to be a lot of spoilers that I'm going to talk about in terms of the stories. So I don't want to ruin it for you. So go ahead and watch the series first, and then come back to this. Then you can watch the director's review on the behind the scenes. But this character was very challenging to put on the scene together. And what I end up using, I use image effects through Google, and that's how I was. In my opinion, image effects gives you the best human feel, like as much as possible than any other apps. I meant. So they do a pretty good job. It looks realistic. So for me, as long as you can describe each character, give them a unique description of who they are, and be able to keep that same description for each character, even when you are changing the background, like the location of the scene, you should be able to get somewhat of a consistent character. And not all the time I was able to. I still ran through a lot of different difficulties, especially generating a lot of different images. As you can see, Barry has a little bit of gray hairs, but really light trim, not fully, not like me, of course, But so there were some times while I'm generating the images, we will have like where they only gave him a goatee and he doesn't have the sideburns, or they make, or I'll be dealing with full hair or something. So there was always something changing constantly. But for Barry, his main description, he has a watch and the gray tie, and he has the gray suit, white shirt. But there were times with the AI, they would put the watch on the left hand side. So continuity is a huge problem when it comes to AI, and so you have to watch out for that. There were times I generate the photo after I've gone through, like, let's say like 40 photos, and now I finally find one after 40 images. Now when I generated the full footage, my queen says to me, "Hey, the clothes is wrong." And I'm like, well, what do you mean the clothes is wrong? And that actually happened in the scene in episode 3 that you guys going to see this week. And I was like, ugh, because if you knew how much I generated for the image, it had to be around 30, 40 images. And then considering the fact that when it comes to the video, now you have to generate the video. It took me another 10, 20. So to go back to change the wardrobe was like, it was hard. But of course, but imagine if this was a live action film, right? And you put on the wrong clothes. You're stuck with this scene now. unless you go back, which is going to cost you money for the location, time, and the actors. So I know, so it's a give and take because when you think about AI, you're sitting at the living room, at the comfort of your living room, and you're creating this. So it's a lot different, but it has its pros and cons. I would say, so even to create her, Joy, was very interesting. And for me, what's important is to keep she has braided hair, and then so it's wrapped. A black woman with braided hair wrapped in a bun. So that was extremely important. And then she wears a stud earrings as well with red lipstick. So this was pretty much her description. And then of course there was more description in terms of her eyes is like hazelnuts and so on. And so there's so many different little characteristics like you sort of have to kind of stick to keep the character consistency. And guys, and even then, while you're changing the background or the location, for some reason, Google Images sometimes will just change the character just like that. So you want to make sure like you save your character description somewhere else so you can at least copy and paste it back into the prompt. So it's really tough when you doing this stuff because what's going to make you a better prompter if that's a new thing now. You have to have a sense of you have to be a photographer, become a photographer, having a sense of framing, composition, and then you have to be a good writer, which is how to write prompts the best way, because the better you can write the prompts, the better it would be for you, for the visual that you have in your mind to be able to have that. And then also to have and you have to be a good designer. That's extremely important as well. So even like when you're looking at the scene, I had issues with the people disappearing in the background, or it was not consistent. So it was really tough. Like even right now, when you look at the scene, she didn't really drink. I wanted her to drink the drink, but she didn't really do that. She went halfway and then stopped. So a lot of times you're not going to get exactly what you want through the AI, for whatever reason. And you're just going to have to, at some point, call it quit and say, okay, I'm okay with this shot. And that's what it's going to be. Isn't she beautiful? Wow. Black is beautiful. Yeah, that's Joy right there. But yeah, guys, so it's this was very interesting. And of course, we have, I wanted to make sure we have a nice quote at the end when the episode is done. Because, at the end of the day, I'm hopeless romantic, and I want to make sure that we get something from this. And we all looking for love. Who is it that doesn't want to be loved? So that's extremely important that we get some sort of positive quote at the end of each episode, and that's just pretty much how I wanted it. So next episode is Ripples of Faith. So and then, of course, we have the beautiful Miami ocean. And as you can see through every um, the names of the episode, we always going to show water because it's the symbolism for the series Currents of Love. So we kind of want to show how like the currents is hitting the rocks and so on. So that's the kind of feel that I wanted to go with. So the next scene that you're going to see is, which was very quite interesting. Even here, as you can see, the beautiful Miami. If you've been to Miami before, this is sort of like the bridge. You may call this I think it's the 195 bridge, where you coming off it, and if you look on the right side and you see all these expensive mansions that's near the water. So that's what I was trying to kind of show over here. One of the biggest things that again that I was told with Currents of Love while they were at the theater, they say if you've never been to Miami and you saw this film, you're going to want to come down to Miami, or it really shows Miami. And that's what I really wanted to do because I am like 30 minutes away from Miami. I'm actually in downtown Las Olas area. And so that's pretty much where I live. But I wanted to kind of show the beautiful palm trees to give you a feel of the series. When you watch the whole series as a whole, I want you to feel the Miami vibe, the South Beach vibe. So that's what I was going for. And so yeah, so this next scene that you guys are going to see here was very, very challenging for me because if you look at this scene here, I wanted her to first looking into the camera, she's talking, and then she turns around and walk away just like she's doing right now. But the most difficult part that I had with it was the fact that and I was really getting frustrated is she would be on the phone, and so I would prompt, for her to start talking on the phone, and then within a few seconds she turn around and head into the distance, and for whatever reason her body, her head just flipped without her body, like the Exorcist. Like you, like, yo, what the hell is this? Like it was crazy, and this would happen after after so many generations. I kind of like gave up. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to take it from right where she turns around fully and cut it from there and start the scene from there. So that's exactly what I did. So this was very frustrating, but of course you have the beautiful Miami skyscrapers, and but can you see an issue within the scene? If you're looking at this, do you see an issue? Well, maybe you do, maybe you don't. But I had a lot of frustration trying to reconstruct this scene because I wanted this because she's actually in a condo with this infinity pool. So I wanted this to be high up, just like you're looking at these tall buildings. It's like the infinity pool is up there. So technically, this water level should be lower. So the AI doesn't know the difference. Like it makes it very complex. So I had to create a lot of generations just trying to get it right because it's at sea level and I didn't want it to be at sea level. So I end up going with it. So you guys going to see a lot of mistakes through these, because again, this is an experiment. So AI is not perfect. Keep this in mind, even with the voiceovers, the emotions, everything that you're going to see. If you're looking for mistakes, well, welcome. You're going to see a lot of mistakes. But again, this is an experiment, and it's just going to make me better. And as AI gets better, I'm going to get better, and the projects are going to get better. And so I want to be able to continue this series here to see how how AI has evolved over these years. Now over here, you can see this start to be some changes because you can see the building, and you can see it's somewhat higher when it comes to the eye level, because you can start seeing trees and you see another building. So this kind of makes it somewhat better, um, so, and then Mia, the beautiful Mia, she's actually in a home, Miami home. And one of the biggest problem that I had with Mia was when I generated her, I generated her in replicate. And the issue that we had, all of her photos, which I did not know in the beginning, if you don't show different postures of that character, like a side view, front view, back view, and if you're showing the same exact background, so this was almost on every photos. So the AI doesn't know the difference. It thinks it's part of her hair. So sometimes when I'm trying to generate her, for some reason it'll generate these black things behind her, so I had to regenerate her to get the best look out of her. So I didn't build her model in image effects. She's actually coming from replicate where I did it using flux. So I would say two of my characters are outside of image effects. So that was really complex. So imagine trying to put her in a scene with Mia together, how complex that is going to be, and what I had to do to get them in the scene together. So this was really, really complex. Now, if you're looking at this scene right here, you can actually see that the infinity pool is much higher than the actual build buildings, because you can see the sea right there, and that's what it was supposed to look like. Again, how much generation I had to do to get that, it was tough. So even with her right now, you're looking at her, her face somewhat changes a little bit comparing to how she looked on the first episode, as you can see, but she still has the same look. But look at her earrings. Her earrings is supposed to be like a stud earring, but she has this little thing happening here. And this is the kind of some of the stuff that you're gonna face. And sometimes she'll be holding the phone on the left hand versus the right hand, and that's another thing. So yeah, so welcome to AI filmmaking. It's just what it is. It is what it is. But definitely. So again, this is the story where Barry actually goes in and she sees Barry, because when I decided to do the story, I started with two individuals at a restaurant. You know, you're not really sure how they got there. And if you haven't seen this series, I prefer you go see it first and then come watch this, guys, because I don't want to give any spoilers and anything like that. So basically, she was waiting on a date. Barry was not her date. She was waiting on a date, and her date never showed up. Can you believe this? Guys, have you ever done such thing? I hope not. If you promise to take a young lady out, take her out. Show up, guys. Show up. When it comes to relationship, and you know how it is right now in the black culture between men and women, how difficult that it is for us to love, trust, and respect one another, and be a gentleman. Show up. So basically, her date did not show up, and Barry happened to be there, notices her, and guys, if you want a young lady, don't play games. Go after her, because there's another man who's actually hunting and will reach out to her. So that's exactly what happened. So she now finds him interesting. So now they're in the restaurant, and that they are actually started talking. He approached her, and then so therefore is they start out a conversation, and there was a chemistry that took place, like, and that's all it takes. And sometimes it's, and if you look at Barry is an older guy comparing. Get Barry is like somewhat in his 40s, sort of like me, but I'm probably much older than Barry. But yeah, but that's exactly what happened. So this is Joy explaining to Mia, because Mia was the one who actually set the date, and she's asking what happened. Did he show up? She's like, no, he didn't show up. But I met somebody else, someone who's more interesting, who can keep a conversation. He's a gentleman. So that's what really set the story in motion. So in episode 3, you're going to actually see what happened. Now, this story here, and here's another thing to look out for. If you look at the iPhone, right here, she has two cameras. Her phone was supposed to be a gray phone with three cameras, like I think an iPhone 12 or something like that. So a lot of this stuff the AI doesn't know, and it'll change things around. And sometime it'll give her an Android, But what was complex about this scene? She's supposed to be angry right here, and you can see the emotion, the hesitation in terms of, should I text him back or not? So she decided that, you know what? I wanted her to take the phone and be angry and just toss it in water or throw it over her shoulder. I could not get the AI to do that. It doesn't matter how much generation that I had to do, and I'm losing credits. I wish a lot of these AI apps was like unlimited. Like you pay one fee, whether it's 120, 150, 200, it's unlimited. Unfortunately, guys, it is not. It is not. And I wish they can actually change that. But yeah, so anyway, you're going to see what I had to do. So I had to create like a two shot for that to happen. Where she's contemplating and throwing the phone. So what I took a piece of when she goes up, like this scene right here. she went like this, right? So what I did, I took the shot when right when her hands got here, so it kind of make it look like she threw the phone away. So it's a two shot. The next shot, I just sort of generated a phone that actually immersed in water, and that's how I was able to put the two shots together to kind of make it show like she actually threw the phone away and then just walk out the water. Now, this emotion here, I really love that emotion. And that's one of the things about when you're creating an AI film, you have to be able to know how to describe the emotions. It's extremely important because if you can't describe the emotions, it's going to be very hard. Because, guys, it is emotions that drive stories, you know? So AI is not fully there yet to be able to bring crying out emotions and so on. So it's getting better, but it's not fully there yet. And so, even to do the motions, like even to even have her originally, I had her in a way where she sort of like dive in the water and then come out. I couldn't even get her to actually do that because AI is just, it's just not there yet. Even with walking a certain way, certain apps does it better than others, and that's just the reality of AI filmmaking. So that's what you see. So this is the beautiful shot of Miami, nice condo. This shot was really composed very well. I felt like she was really sad right there, and I love this whole scene. And I actually tried like a flare right there, and it actually worked. So that's what was really, really, really interesting. Was next time I think I'm going to try like a anamorphic flare or something like that. But guys, this is it. Just breaking down episode 1, episode 2 of Currents of Love. Thank you for watching. Please, guys, leave any comment that you can. Please share it with a friend who's into AI filmmaking or who's just looking for a nice little love story, and tell them this is the future of AI filmmaking. So until next time, like, share, and don't forget to subscribe. All right. Thank you so much. And guys, check out my films on Tubi. Loving Till It Hurts. You can't miss it. Loving Till It Hurts. This film was actually, it was my first film, by the way. It was my first film. I think it was 2019. I released it on Tubi. I released it on the theaters. We did the premiere 2018. And this film, people are still watching it till today. And guys, it's a beautiful thing. You have to look at your films like a product. Like imagine creating a shoe. You have to keep promoting the shoe. Think about millions of people who doesn't know about your shoe, right? So you have to keep promoting it, keep promoting it. It doesn't matter if it feels like you're showing the same thing over and over and over again. It's a product, guys. Keep promoting the product to get your stuff out there and make it happen, right? So check out Love Until It Hurts, or you can check out my second project, Bay Night, and see you guys this week.